Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 599 based on novel. So let's start. As Wang Lin tore open the Devil Dao sect's protection and raised the Yin blade, the war in the Heavenly Bull continent was reaching its peak. The war that had lasted more than 100 years had spread even further as time passed. Tens of millions of kilometers of area was engulfed in war. This war had affected most of the Heavenly Bull continent. A large amounts of Green Devil continent cultivators had crossed the Empty Pill Sea and entered the Heavenly Bull continent under the leadership of third step cultivators and even exalts. The many layers of protection of the Heavenly Bull continent had collapsed, and they had slaughtered into the core. The Green Devil continent cultivators had formed two armies and had surrounded the Guiyi sect and Great Soul sect for this final battle. Two of the three golden exalt ancestors of the Green Devil continent were gathered outside the Great Soul sect. As for the Guiyi sect, there were many exalts leading the Green Devil continent cultivators on a slaughter. This battle had lasted for only 100 years, but its intensity was unprecedented. Countless cultivators from both continents had died. Third step cultivators had fallen, exalts had fallen, and too many ordinary cultivators had fallen. However, during this war between the two continents, some nameless people shined like stars and became famous across both continents, or those already famous had become even more powerful in this war. On the Heavenly Bull continent side, Yunifeng was such a person. He had killed many Green Devil continent cultivators and reached a high cultivation level with the 8-blade soul slicer to make himself famous. Several months ago, he left the Scorpion Temple and returned to the Heavenly Bull continent to participate in this final battle. Aside from him, Tang Jiao and Edge Cloud had also become famous due to the Heavenly Bull soul armor. Several people from the Great Soul sect had risen as well and become the brightest lights beside the old ancestor. The Green Devil continent also had cultivators like this, like Void Cloud, who Wang Lin had killed twice. His original body was still in the Heavenly Bull continent, as Wang Lin had only killed his avatars. Void Cloud's sword cultivation was extraordinary and had caught the attention of everyone here. Under Void Cloud, there were several more people, and along with the people who rose up in the Heavenly Bull continent, these less than 20 people were now the leaders of this war. It was as if the purpose of this battle was to highlight the glory of these less than 20 cultivators. This war continued to be carried out by the Great Soul sect and the Guiyi sect. The 16 cultivators from both sides released their full power as if the battlefield was a stage for them to perform on. Wang Lin was still inside the Devil Dao sect. Wang Lin didn't want to show himself, he just wanted revenge, but by doing this, he was revealing his own light. If anyone was paying attention to the war between the two continents, they would definitely not ignore Wang Lin. What Wang Lin was doing was not something those 16 geniuses could compare to, he completely suppressed them. He leaped into the air and raised the Yin blade in his hand. Behind him, the 5-element true body and the thunder essence true body also raised their Yin blades and chopped down on the incoming golden-robed old man and the red-robed man. The three figures were brilliant under the sun and instantly closed in. Three heaven-shattering roars replaced all sound in the world and absorbed the full attention of the 30,000 cultivators below. It was as if time had stopped at this moment. This battle would make Wang Lin famous on the immortal astral continent. This battle would make Wang Lin's name rise on the immortal astral continent. Fighting two void turbulent exalts alone was enough to shock anyone. They were true void turbulent exalts, and although they might have never become golden exalts, they were still terrifying void turbulent exalts that everyone looked up to. Any one of them was far more powerful than the 7-colored celestial sovereign. Any of them could have killed the 7-colored celestial sovereign as easily as taking something out of their pockets. Today, both of them were attacking at once, so how could this battle not shock everyone? The Yin blade swept down and instantly closed in on the golden-robed man. Thunderous rumbles echoed as the blade covered in Yin energy collided with the golden-robed old man. The golden-robed old man let out a shocking roar. His hands formed seals and then he threw out all his treasures. All of these treasures gave off powerful auras, and at the same time, he bit the tip of his tongue to spit out blood. He casted the strongest spell he had as a void turbulent cultivator. Golden Metal Dao. As he roared, a golden light surrounded him, forming a protective layer around him. He looked like a battle celestial that had to be respected. Great power, devil. A second roar came from the golden light. Black gas appeared and surrounded the golden light to form an even larger devil god. The devil god looked fierce and wore an armor made of black fog that gave off a destructive aura, as if it could destroy the world. It formed a fist, which caused popping sounds to echo, and collided with Wang Lin's yin blade. Thunderous rumbles echoed across the world. Wang Lin's yin blade collided with the devil god. Wang Lin's yin blade contained his full cultivation, so it cut into the hand of the devil god like he was cutting through paper. There was no resistance as the blade cut through all treasures, through the arm of the devil god, and through the body of the devil god, landing on the golden body of the golden-robed old man. The golden light trembled and the old man inside coughed out a mouthful of blood. His face became pale and his eyes were filled with fear. The devil god around him was cut in half by Wang Lin's blade like it couldn't resist at all. The devil god collapsed and the golden light trembled. Wang Lin's five-element true body closed in with its yin blade and chopped down on the golden light around the old man. The golden light trembled and erupted with the sound of a mirror collapsing. The light shattered into countless pieces, revealing the golden-robed old man, who was filled with despair. The fear and horror in the golden-robed old man's eyes were replaced by a thunder yin blade. Thunder rumbled as Wang Lin's thunder essence chopped down with its yin blade. With this chop, the thunder yin blade moved at an unimaginable speed across the old man's neck. Blood sprayed out as the old man's head was cut off and his origin soul collapsed to the blade. A void turbulent exalt died like this. All of this happened too fast for the 30,000 Devil Dao sect members to react. The elder that they respected, who had heaven-piercing power, had his head cut off and body turned into a mist of blood. The moment the old man died, the red-robed man closed in. His face had turned pale and his pupils shrank. He was scared out of his wits, and without hesitation, he retreated like crazy, trying to leave. At this moment, he didn't care about the Devil Dao sect. Nothing was more important than his own life. However, thinking about escaping now was too late. In truth, the moment Wang Lin ripped open the fog formation, escape was no longer an option for the cultivators here. Wang Lin turned and his eyes erupted a dazzling, golden light. This golden light came from the fragment of the celestial ancestor's sword. The golden light shot straight toward the escaping red-robed man. Although this man was a void turbulent exalt, he was still going to be suppressed by Wang Lin's eyes. When his gaze swept past the red-robed man's heart trembled as if a sword had pierced his heart. At this moment, Wang Lin raised his left hand and waved. The entire Devil Dao sect sky darkened, then a giant palm appeared in the sky and smashed down toward the earth. This palm had 9 fingers. This scene caused the red-robed old man to let out a miserable scream. He retreated like crazy as he formed seal and used all his spells. At the same time, the 30,000 cultivators below scattered like crazy to leave the shadow of the palm print. However, the giant, 9-fingered palm covered most of the Devil Dao sect. There wasn't just one palm. After it, 2 more giant palms followed. One came from the 5-element true body, while the second came from the thunder essence true body. 3 palm prints filled with destructive aura closed in on the red-robed man. The man's body was covered in a large amount of red fog. The fog turned into 2 huge arms and rose up as if they were going to support the sky. The 2 arms formed by the red fog seemed to contain endless power and had killed countless cultivators to make him famous. However, facing Wang Lin's palm, they were destroyed like withered wood. The moment the 2 arms touched the palm print, they immediately collapsed. The first palm print rapidly descended and touched the red fog around the red-robed man. The fog scattered and the red-robed man inside roared and bit the tip of his tongue to spit out blood. He raised his arms to collide with the palm print once more. Devil Dao blood body. The red-robed man's expression was fierce and revealed a hint of madness. Blood erupted from the 36,000 pores on his body and covered him to form a blood body. There was an extremely pure Devil Dao aura coming from his blood body. His left hand contained Dao and his right hand contained Devil. When his arms pushed out, the first palm print collapsed before him. When the palm print collapsed, the red-robed man coughed out blood, but the blood was immediately absorbed by him. He retreated several steps and a second palm print landed. The red-robed man's hair was scattered and he seemed to have lost his mind. The only thing that remained was his unwillingness to die and a sense of madness. His legs began to rapidly wither and his blood and flesh began to move. All of his flesh and essences seemed to gather in his arms. His arms suddenly expanded several folds, making for an extremely shocking sight. Wang Lin had seen Big Head use this kind of spell before, but it was not nearly as amazing as the red-robed man's. Not only did his legs wither, but even his body withered. All the flesh and blood gathered in his arms and smashed into the second palm print in the sky. Thunderous rumbles shook the world. The second palm print created by the five-element true body collided with the red-robed man. The palm print collapsed and the red-robed man's body trembled. He continued to step back, and his left arm exploded into a mist of blood. His eyes were filled with despair. When the third palm print closed in, he let out the last roar of his life. He knew he could not escape, but he wanted to fight. In a flash, he rushed into the sky toward the third palm print. His soul began to burn and his origin soul gave off a destructive aura. At this moment of life or death, he decided to burn his life in exchange for a surge in power. His cultivation level increased from void turbulent exalt like crazy as he burned his life force. When the third palm print closed in, his cultivation leaped into golden exalt. The moment he became a golden exalt, the third palm print collided with him and a thunderous rumble echoed. The thunder palm print collapsed, but this was just ordinary thunder, not slaughter thunder. After the palm print scattered, the red-robed man had a crazed look. His body was a bloody mess, but he didn't die. He stared at Wang Lin and knew he only had 10 breaths left to live. After 10 breaths, he would die and Wang Lin wouldn't have to do anything. However, the only thought in his mind was that death was the price for 10 breaths of golden exalt strength to kill Wang Lin, who had forced him into this situation. Without hesitation, he charged at Wang Lin. Die? He let out a fierce roar filled with killing intent, and he closed in on Wang Lin on the second breath. Wang Lin didn't dodge, he just coldly looked at the red-robed man. You qualified for me to use 70% of my power. Wang Lin muttered as the red-robed man closed in. He raised his right hand and the yin blade retracted. His eyes lit up and his five-element true body and thunder essence true body fused with him. Then he threw a punch at the red-robed man. This punch was 70% of Wang Lin's power. This punch was a fusion of his ancient Dao and void turbulent cultivation, with the celestial vein releasing 70% of its power. The punch looked powerless, but it caused the world to change colors and tremble. The void between the two of them distorted and ripples echoed. Wang Lin's punch seemed to exceed time and space as it landed on the red-robed man's chest. The golden exalt red-robed man's body trembled. He revealed a bitter smile as his body exploded. He still had 7 more breaths of golden exalt strength, but there was no need to spend that time. The moment he died, the red-robed man clearly knew how strong Wang Lin was. He was not Wang Lin's match. Even though he had burned his soul and life, he was still not Wang Lin's match. Is this golden exalt? Wang Lin's eyes were filled with battle intent. He had only used 70% of his power, but he felt how powerful golden exalts were. When the red-robed man died, the 30,000 cultivators and dozens of third-step cultivators scattered to escape. However, Wang Lin had already sealed the Devil Dao sect, so they couldn't escape. Wang Lin stood there with a cold gaze. He looked at the lake at the center of the sect and the island on the lake. You still won't show yourself. Wang Lin's words echoed like thunder, but no sound came from the lake. Are you attempting to break through? I'll give you the chance. Wang Lin waved his sleeve and he appeared next to a third-step cultivator of the Devil Dao sect. His finger swiped by and a head flew off. You all shouldn't have joined the Devil Dao sect. Wang Lin turned and stepped away. He appeared before another third-step cultivator, and as that person howled, his finger pierced that person's forehead. At the same time, the seal around the Devil Dao sect rumbled. The seal around the sect rapidly shrank. Any Devil Dao sect cultivator that touched the seal died. Since Wang Lin said he was going to destroy the sect, he was going to destroy the sect. Not a single member would be allowed to escape. Wang Lin indifferently moved and killed those dozens of third-step cultivators one by one. He stood at the edge of the half-empty lake and looked at the island. Screams entered his ears as large amounts of the 30,000 Devil Dao sect cultivators died. These miserable screams continued to echo across the world. They entered Wang Lin's ears and also the heart of the Devil Dao sect master, who was still in closed-door cultivation. The Devil Dao sect master's expression was distorted. His eyes were red, but he continued to endure. He didn't dare to leave. He didn't dare. He had watched Wang Lin kill the golden-robed old man and saw the red-robed man sacrifice his own life to reach golden exalt cultivation. However, what made him tremble was Wang Lin's punch. That simple-looking punch had instantly killed a golden exalt. The Devil Dao sect master had divinated thousands of times to see if he could survive that punch. After doing so more than 1,000 times, he died 50% of the time. However, this was only 70% of Wang Lin's power. Once Wang Lin used full power, the consequences were very clear. What's more, the Devil Dao sect master clearly knew that Wang Lin still had the Heavenly Bull soul armor. Wang Lin hadn't even used the armor yet. I can't go out. I have already reported the matter here to the old ancestor. I don't know if he can rush back. The screams from outside made his heart ache, but his expression soon became cold. So what if they die? Even if the entire Devil Dao sect dies, as long as I'm still alive, it can be rebuilt. The more death and destruction there is, the more likely it is to anger the old ancestor. And I also have a backup plan. The agreement between me and the Great Soul Sect's esteemed Green Bull has come to an end. The final battle must be happening right now. The two continents have been acting out this play for tens of thousands of years. In the last 100 years, we made it even more real by sacrificing large amounts of cultivators. Using this price, we must be able to attract the attention of the royal family. The celestial emperor that came out of closed-door cultivation more than 100 years ago must have noticed. An imperial edict will be sent. The Devil Dao sect master was enduring the screams from outside when his eyes became cold. Outside, Wang Lin looked at the lake and saw the shadow moving under the water. The rapidly contracting seal had killed most of the Devil Dao sect cultivators and destroyed a large amount of buildings, leaving the sect in ruins. It was condensing toward the center of the lake. At this moment, on the Heavenly Bull continent, a big event occurred. The Guiyi sect was surrounded by countless Green Devil continent cultivators. They began a crazed slaughter in an attempt to open the Guiyi sect formation. Both sides had 7 or 8 geniuses that had risen up, and the two armies fought regardless of death. All the Void Tribulent cultivators, including the sect master and the several Void Tribulent cultivators from the Green Devil continent, all raised their heads to look at the sky. At this moment, the sky was covered by a monstrous, golden light. Under this golden light, all the cultivators inside and outside the Guiyi sect stopped fighting and looked at the sky in horror. A wave of endless pressure came from the sky and descended. A golden figure calmly stood inside the golden light and looked down. Heavenly Bull continent, Green Devil continent, all members of the Celestial clan, accept this edict. There were 2 more of the same figure. One appeared outside the Great Soul Sect and one moved at an indescribable speed toward the Green Devil continent. As the powerful words came from the golden figure in the sky, all the cultivators inside and outside the Guiyi sect became silent. They all looked up and were shocked. Imperial family. Celestial Emperor. Imperial Edict. The Celestial Emperor's Imperial Edict was extremely rare and barely appeared, maybe once in tens of thousands of years. This edict represented the irresistible majesty of the Celestial Emperor at the central continent. It would not be wrong to call it the might of the heavens. On the immortal astral continent, the Celestial Emperor had the bloodline of the celestial ancestor and was a supreme existence among the Celestials. Although they were only the ruler of all the Celestials in name, they were not something a mere sect, faction, or continent could resist. Due to their bloodline, Over countless years, they were not only the nominal emperor, but also the symbol of the entire celestial clan. Unless one planned to betray the Celestials, they had to listen to the Imperial edict. More importantly, this emperor was one of the 9 sons. With such a powerful strength along with his identity, it allowed this generation's Imperial family's power to reach an extremely high degree. Greetings, Celestial Emperor. All the cultivators clasped their hands and bowed. No matter where the cultivator came from or what their cultivation level was, they all bowed with respect from the depths of their hearts. The golden figure in the sky was not the Celestial Emperor, but holding the Imperial edict meant that he was the embodiment of the Celestial Emperor. The Celestial clan didn't need to kneel before the Emperor, they only had to bow. This was a rule set by the Celestial Ancestor because he believed that Celestials were those that defied the heavens, so how could they kneel to another so casually? The reason the Imperial clan always stayed back and didn't participate in worldly affairs was also due to the will of the Celestial Ancestor. Celestials couldn't be restrained, and if they were restrained, they weren't worthy of being called Celestials. As a result, even the 4 other Grand Empyreans gave the Imperial family a certain degree of respect. As all the cultivators inside and outside the Guiyi sect bowed, the golden figure in the sky looked down on the earth. There are 3 Imperial edicts, one here, one at the Great Soul sect, and the last one at the Green Devil Continent's Devil Dao sect. With a wave of their right hand, the golden light shined brightly once more. An Imperial edict made of unknown material was opened by this person. The celestial bloodline has lasted since ancient times until now. The cultivators of the Heavenly Bull Continent and the Green Devil Continent are to stop this war immediately. Yunifeng, Tangjiao, Edge Cloud, Ju Hai, Zhao Dongqing. These 8 people will come to the palace and enter the ancestral temple to enter the trial. The golden figure's words were slow, but each word was like thunder. The 8 cultivators he named were all filled with excitement. These 8 names belonged to the most eye-catching 16 people in this war that were at the Guiyi sect. As these words echoed, the Guiyi sect master let out a deep breath and revealed a smile. This war seemed complex, but it was actually very simple. The battle between the 2 continents was to display the new generation to attract the attention of the Celestial Emperor and enter the ancestral temple. The Guiyi sect master was not the only one who smiled. The Void Tribulent Exalts from the Green Devil Continent also smiled. They all clasped their hands and bowed once more after the edict was finished. We all obey the will of the Emperor. The golden figure waved their right hand and the golden edict flew out. It floated before the Guiyi sect and gave off a soft, golden light. After doing this, the golden figure no longer spoke and disappeared from the sky. The golden light in the sky slowly disappeared and returned to normal. Almost at the same time, outside the Great Soul sect, the battle between the 2 sides reached the most intense moment. Void Cloud and the geniuses from the Great Soul sect were battling when the second golden figure appeared. The same scene took place above the Great Soul sect. All the cultivators bowed and even the Imperial edict had pretty much the same meaning, only the 8 names were changed to Void Cloud and company. After the golden figure left, both the inside and outside of the Great Soul sect were completely silent. Old Ancestor Green Bull looked at the sky after the golden light had scattered and revealed a complicated expression. He let out a sigh. Far too many cultivators had died in the war between the 2 continents, but for this opportunity, they had to do this. It was the opportunity to enter the ancestral temple. Although the old ancestor's divination changed a bit, it ended up being mostly the same. But I never told Wang Lin the reason. The old man shook his head as he let out a sigh and went toward his closed-door cultivation location. This war that had lasted for more than 100 years ended because of these 2 Imperial edicts. The cultivators of the Green Devil Continent slowly retreated back to their homes on the Green Devil Continent. The Heavenly Bull Continent had suffered heavy casualties, but the Green Devil Continent had suffered even more. On the Green Devil Continent, in the Devil Dao sect, as the seal rapidly shrank, anyone who touched it died miserably. Even the buildings were turned into ruins by the seal. In less than 30 breaths of time, the seal had destroyed everything and killed all the cultivators. It gathered around the lake under Wang Lin's feet. At the same time, most of the origin souls of the 30,000 cultivators were destroyed. Only the origin souls of the dozens of third-step cultivators remained trapped inside the seal. They all flew toward Wang Lin and were caught by him. Origin souls were very important for his rapid spell art as he only had one spell vein. If he could devour more origin souls, his casting speed could reach a shocking degree. Out of the two late-stage void turbulent cultivators, one's origin soul was destroyed and the other had burned to death, so Wang Lin hadn't collected them. The main reason was because Wang Lin needed to judge how powerful he was right now. In such a situation, if he took care to maintain the origin soul, he wouldn't be able to accurately judge how powerful he had become. In the future, it wouldn't be difficult for him to obtain void turbulent origin souls. However, for these dozens of third-step cultivators, he had no hesitation in taking them, and he put them into his storage space. Wang Lin didn't know what had happened in the Heavenly Bull continent. He just stared at the lake below. The sounds of dying cultivators had disappeared and now it was dead silence. The Devil Dao sect has been destroyed and everyone is dead. If any of them remain, they are on the Heavenly Bull continent, yet you still won't come out. Wang Lin's words were cold and he waved his hand at the lake below. The moment he waved his hand, the seal around the lake shined brightly and thunderous rumbles echoed across the ruined sect. The seal began to rapidly contract around the lake. The water in the lake began to ripple rapidly and water vapor flew out. It was obvious this lake was rapidly collapsing. The seal contained powerful destructive force. When it contracted the water dissipated and the lake collapsed, leaving only the light that rushed toward the island at the center. However, when the seal was halfway to the island, a roar came from inside the lake. A dark blue sea dragon rushed out from the lake. This was a sea dragon, completely blue sea dragon that was hundreds of thousands of feet long. The sea dragon was a celestial beast on the immortal astral continent. It looked fierce and gave off dense celestial energy. This sea dragon had lived for a certain amount of time. It gave off an ancient aura and its head was somewhat different from other dragons' heads. The row of thorns on its back made it look even more shocking. This dragon had no claws, it looked like a large python. But it had power comparable to a dragon's. Its body looked slender but was hundreds of feet thick. On its head, aside from the thorns covering its back, there were two huge fins that connected together like a fan. As the sea dragon flew into the air, large amounts of water flew down from its scales. As the dragon flew out, the water level of the lake decreased a lot. Roar! The moment it appeared, the sea dragon's giant red eyes stared at Wang Lin and it let out a shocking roar. As it howled, two more eyes appeared. This dragon actually had 4 eyes. The sea dragon should live in the sea, but it lived inside the lake. The moment it appeared, a pressure spread out from its body. The moment the sea dragon appeared, an earth yellow light came from the island, forming a protective barrier that protected the island from the seal. Shortly after, the sea dragon suddenly moved. It opened its mouth and charged at Wang Lin to devour him. All the thorns on its back stood straight and gave off a cold chill. This sea dragon had power no weaker than a peak golden exalt. It had followed the Empyrean exalt for a long time, and when he left the sea dragon here at the Devil Dao sect. He was confident that with this dragon and the power of the Devil Dao sect, the sect would be safe for countless years. This video will end here.